In this video, we will show you how to replace your front driver's side inner drag link on this Dodge Ram. This is part of your front steering. Let's get into it. Okay friends, let's get started on our job. The first thing you want to do is safely raise and support the front of the vehicle so the wheels are off the ground. Once you've done that, we'll make our way over to where the stabilizer shock connects onto the drag link. I'll use an 18mm to hold the bolt head down along here, and an 18mm up along the top to remove the mounting nut. After that, we can separate the two. Remove and inspect the hardware. Replace it as necessary. Now we can take that mounting nut. We'll start it on here just a couple threads. Use your hammer and give this a couple loving bonks to break it free. You can use some penetrant if needed. With that out of the way, let's continue on with a bungee cord or a strap. What we want to do is hold the drag link up to the tie rod end area here, so once we have it unscrewed, we're sure it doesn't fall down and potentially hurt us. Let's move along to our sleeve. This is the adjustment area for the tie rod and the drag link. Now on this, we want to loosen each one of these nuts. After that, we can use some penetrant up along inside the grooved area and then start turning this. As we turn it, what you'll find is that the drag link and the tie rod end at the same time start unscrewing from the sleeve. Use our 15mm down here. You do not need to fully remove that, it just needs to be loose. We'll make our way over and do the exact same thing over here. On our application, this looks like it's already been replaced with a mounting bolt and a nut. So I'll be holding the bolt head right up along the top. Use my 15mm for the nut. Once again, you don't have to fully remove the nut. At this point, you want to ensure that both these clamps are nice and loose. If it feels like it's stuck in this position, just go ahead and use a hammer and break it free. On the adjustment sleeve, you should find that you have a slot that makes its way all the way across. Ours is right up along the top. Yours could be along the side or even the bottom. Apply some penetrant so it can make its way into the threads. Now, of course, when we go to unscrew this, we will want to count the amount of turns it takes to remove it. For good measure, I'll just use a crayon right along the threaded area of my tie rod end. The reason why I'm putting this here is so I know exactly how far to screw on the sleeve when I'm done. Now that we've marked the sleeve, the next thing you're going to want to do is start unscrewing it. But while you're doing so, you might find that it's stuck on either the drag link or even the tie rod. It's always a good idea to use some penetrant right up inside the slot. Once you've done that, you can also apply a little bit of heat along where the threaded area would be for the tie rod end or even for the drag link. I'll use a pry bar. Carefully get in between that slot, and now we can slowly try to turn this in one direction and the other to try to get it to break free. Once you have it broken free, you can continue on with some long channel locks. Let's take this and start unscrewing it. As we do so, you want to count the amount of turns. There's 2, and we'll just keep going. 3, 2, 3. This is pretty much unscrewed. There we are. Unscrewing this, ours took 34 turns. Yours may vary. At this point, we can make our way all the way over to where the drag link connects onto the outside tie rod end. Use a 21mm to remove this nut. Now we'll start the nut on, just a couple threads. We'll give this a couple loving bonks to attempt to break it free. At this point, we'll remove the bungee cord, carefully swing this down, we can remove the nut, and then remove the drag link. There it is, friends. Now that we have that out of there, let's give the sleeve a quick inspection. You want to ensure that the threaded area is still in good condition. If it's rotted or there's some threaded missing, you want to replace the entire sleeve. Now would be the time to do it. Assuming it looks good, let's go ahead and use some anti-seize inside the threaded area. All right, let's get ready for the installation of our brand new drag link. We'll take this and slide it right in here. Start on the mounting nut, but you don't want to tighten this yet. Now we can pivot this up and connect it into the sleeve. Now we can take this, we're going to press the two together. Now we can start turning the sleeve to screw in both of these at the same time. While we're putting this on, you want to be counting the amount of turns that it takes to put it on, so it goes back in the exact same position as when you had loosened the sleeve. Now that I put this back on the same amount of turns as I did removing it, I'm going to make my way all the way back over to the tie rod end stud. Let's snug this and then torque it to 80 foot-pounds. Now we can torque this to 80 foot-pounds. The next thing you'll want to do is pay attention to the hole that goes through the center of the stud and the slots that are on the nut. We want to align the hole with one of the slots here. If it isn't lined up, you want to make sure you continue tightening the nut until the very next slot is. Once you've done so, install your locking cotter pin. Slide this right through here, and we can pin this over. Now that we slid the stud inside the drag link, we'll continue on with our washer, start the nut on there, snug it up, and torque it to 60 foot-pounds. Now we can make our way back to the sleeve. Before you tighten your two clamps, you need to pay attention to where the slot is that makes its way across the sleeve. On our application, it's across the top. The reason why you want to pay attention to that is because of the clamps themselves. You want to make sure that the slot on the sleeve does not align with this slot on the clamp. It can be pretty much anywhere else. So in our instance, I'll be turning it like this. It's not aligned. And now we can continue on with tightening these. We'll make sure it's snug, and then we can torque it to 45 foot-pounds. Okay, friends, we've got the truck back together. At this point, slide out from underneath the vehicle, take it for a road test down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.